Welcome back to the channel. Today we're with the Leapmotor B10, and if you're looking for a C-sized SUV that's all electric, really there isn't a better time to be alive. And subscribe to the channel, because whether it's this, whether it's the CHR Plus from Toyota, the BYD, the Geely EX5, there's a lot of good stuff out there at the moment. And I'm covering it all on the channel, so if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Today we're going to have a look around the outside, the inside of the Leapmotor B10. We would have seen it launched at the Munich Motor Show. But today we're going to get it for a drive. Get charged up for the 2025 Nevo Electric Vehicle Show in partnership with Bank of Ireland and powered by SSE Electricity. Explore over 120 of the latest EVs, get behind the wheel with test drives, experience live vehicle demonstrations, join education sessions with industry experts, and see exclusive new launches including the new Nissan Leaf and new Micra. We're also hosting a free dedicated business day for enterprises, fleets and public sector. Taking place on November the 7th and 8th in the RDS Simmons Court. Get your free ticket on nevo.ie today. For those who don't know who Leapmotor are, they are 51% internationally owned by Stellantis, which is the large megacorp that has a number of brands that you know, like and love, whether it's Peugeot, whether it's Citroën, whether it is Alfa Romeo, etc., etc. Maserati even. And they've seen an opportunity to really work with a Chinese brand, and the B10, this is the third Leapmotor on my channel. So I've got the T03, which is their small electric urban suburban car, and their D segment C10, and so I've had already two of them on the channel, so it shows you how fast this company moves. But they're saying with the B10, what they're saying is it is Chinese know-how with European driving dynamics. It's a design for Europe, or tinkered for Europe car. This is what the Leapmotor logo looks like. We have a daytime running light signature here. You can see the three elements of it. Hopefully it's picking it up on camera. This staggered checkered flag is very reminiscent to the MGS5, which would be a huge competitor for this as well. 360-degree camera on all trims. You've got a bit of gloss black down here, and it's probably running into the Kia line with regards to, some people aren't a fan of this because they think it'll scratch too much. And then you've got your high-low beam LED module, some matte blacking underneath here, actual fog lights, and then some active cooling for, cooling for the battery. There is a Frunk in here. Let me open up the door, and the door are this way. And it is a 21-litre Frunk. This will come in a range extender, petrol generator as well, and REEV or EEV plug-in hybrid. And so there's probably a bit of space left either side for that. But I think it's an EV from the ground up. Very similar to the Geely EX5, very similar to the MG S as well, S5. But nice front end. Nice, strong, it's high. It is a great size. What they're saying, we haven't got prices confirmed yet in Ireland. I think the UK prices are out. Italy is 28,000. The press release that we got for Europe was 29,990. For the entry level, comes in two different levels. Ireland, we're probably going to get the bigger level for, the bigger battery, top trim. Two batteries, two trims. We're probably going to get that for mid-30s is what I would suspect. Built on the Leap 3.5 architecture. 6 colours: blue, black, purple, silver, white and grey. I'll show you some colours when the cars come back this afternoon. Length, it's a 4.5 metre, as I said, C segment. Width is 1.8, nearly 1.89. Height, 1.655. And a wheelbase of 2.735. Two battery sizes, a 56.2 kilowatt hour and a 67.1. Pro and Pro Max is what they're calling them. The Pro gives you 361 kilometers of range, and then the Max will give you 434 WLTP. It looks like we're probably going to get, the majority is going to be top trim in Ireland. We're calling it Design, and the entry-level trim is called Life. So markets like Australia and New Zealand, they're calling them Style and Design, I believe. let's have a little look around the rest of it. So a 1.8 meter panel sunroof for both trims, which is really nice to see. Gloss black, the 360-degree cameras on both trims. NFC card, so it's a card or a phone. There isn't an actual physical fob. You'll see some self-driving cladding, so that's not active in Europe, but in China you have cameras and LiDAR and stuff like that, and you will see a taxi bump on the Chinese version of this. Glass black B-pillar, very little chrome. It's that matte black rubberized edging. That door handle, as we said, are flush, not automatic. And then around at the rear, you've got a high-level brake lamp. You don't have a wiper, which I think is a mistake. You do have that on the MGS 5. You've got that staggered checkered flag kind of look again. Nice tail bar, little tail light all the way across here, split in the middle, so it's not just continuous, so something different on the road. Leapmotor, big badging across the back here. On the right hand side then, rear right hand side, so it's the wrong side for supercharging. 11 kilowatt on AC, and DC then, depending on the battery size, the standard battery gets 140 kilowatt DC, and the bigger battery gets 168. So they're saying 30 to 80% in less than 20 minutes. Now, yes, it's a 30 to 80%, but fast, good for this size and this value of car. B10 badging down here, bit of matte black, and some reflectors, your parking sensors, your cameras, and instead of the boot release here or here, it's up here like the C10, its bigger brother. So great to see it. 430 litres, so good size as well. 60-40 split. This has the upper level trim, so it's this 12 speaker sound system with subwoofer and a really good subwell in underneath there as well. So some good size. You can drop that floor down. On that charging port, you're going to get vehicle to load as well, 3.3 kilowatt. And on the top trim, you're getting a power tail lift. I like it. Do I prefer it over the Geely? I don't know what to say, how to say that name. And do I prefer it over the MGS 5? Time will tell. Rear space. These door things again, up for down, down for up, nearly all the way down. Top trim has tinted in the rear. Good size in the door pockets. Nice eco leather. 2 Isofix in the rear, none on the front. And let's just push in to activate them. Top trim also has a center armrest. You don't get it on the entry level trim. But the fit and finish is great. Very nice. Great space underneath the seats. Look at the legroom there. That seat sets for me. I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters. They're saying it's best in class back here. I'm headrest and I'm 4 centimeters. There's a lovely recline. You're in a nice high seating position. They've done cell to pack on that architecture, that 3.5 architecture. So the seat bench itself is a lovely, look at the width between that and that. Massive. And then a good big wide seat then as well. In the rear you have USB-C, USB-A, a little pocket, and then there's a little slot in that for if you want to put your tissues into it. And what it'll look like then is when you close it up, you can feed it out through the front of it, and you want to take a tissue, you take your tissues out. So yeah, storage behind the seats as well. And that 1.8 square metered with a blind. Lovely. Great space. Very, very nice. Right, let's get into the front. Keyless entry, keyless start. On the door, what have we got? Just your 4. Good size door pocket. GSR2 sensor on the bottom of the A pillar. This is very nice. And this is the darker interior. Nice steering wheel with a flat bottom on it. A bit more to it than the C10. And then an 8.8 inch driver infotainment screen and a 14.6 inch powered by Snapdragon Qualcomm 8155 chipset. They're talking about the wiring loom is very efficient in this car, and the power of the main computer manages everything. Nice vents here. I like this feature down here, because if you don't need cup holders, they don't take up any space, and then when you do, they just flip down. And they're a good sturdy storage here. And then if I spin the camera around, you've got USB-A, USB-C, and 12 volt over here then. If my camera will go up. Yeah. So 12 volt there as well, so good storage. Up on top then we have wireless charging pad, key activation. That's the key there, and that can be used on the outside, as well as the app on the phone. And so on the phone we have the Leapmotor app, and so you can see, you can set your so you can lock, unlock, open the boot, open the windows, set your temperatures, find your location, see your range, send your routes, all that to the app. Over here you do have a glove box, which isn't bad size. This is an interesting thing. They haven't really talked about it today. In other markets, you can buy a little table that clicks in here. The airbag comes from the top of the out, so it's not in this place here, but you can get accessories depending on your markets here. I haven't really, as I mentioned it in the chats today, but the fit, the finish, the feel is nice. The passenger's 4-way electronically adjusted on the top trim, and then on the driver's side it's 8-way adjusted. They're heated and ventilated on the top trim as well. Head height for me, 7 centimeters. Everything is to the screen. So where MG have said the Europeans will want more physical buttons and they put in a row of buttons, physical buttons, Leapmotor said we're going to go with this version, and this is their new operating system 4.0 plus. And so I found the sat-nav very good. It still doesn't have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto built in, but that's coming in an over-the-air update from January, or is it November? But so all models, I believe, the C10 and the B10 will have, but like super responsive, but everything is controlled through the actual screen. So whether it's ventilation, whether it's changing your side mirrors, and a lot of inspiration here from Tesla. With regards to driving, you're getting comfort, standard and sport modes on the accelerator, regenerative braking, weak, medium, strong, there is a one-pedal driving, and then comfort, standard or sport in the steering. You've got 17 different ADAS, not too, we'll talk about it out in the drive, but not too intrusive, which is good. But just everything through the screen. Obviously, you've got a lot of shortcuts there now as well. So that's the interior and exterior of the Leapmotor B10, their C-segment SUV. I don't know why they didn't call it C10. And then the C10 is their D-segment SUV. Don't ask me. It's 180mm ground clearance, 18-inch wheels, no matter what you go for, disc brakes front and rear, and they all have, both models have, or both trims have tire pressure monitoring. I don't know about towing, one thing that they didn't talk about on their spec sheet. The 17 ADAS features with 360 camera, and they're targeting a 5-star Euro NCAP, which is going to happen by the end of the year. Both models get the panoramic glass sunroof we talked about, and the 360 camera and the complete ADAS package. When you go up, you get the eco leather seats, the ambient lighting, heated and ventilated front seats, and fully adjustable front seats. The suspension in the driving, and we'll go out driving now, is MacPherson strut in the front and multi-link in the rear rather than torsion, so it's a nicer drive. 50-50 weight distribution as well, and it's a 160 kilowatt electric motor, rear wheel drive, 218 horsepower, 240 newton meters of torque with a 0 to 108 seconds. Let's take it out for a drive. What's it like driving the Leapmotor B10 down into drive? On the press trip, they've given us a phone that has the app on it and an NFC card as well. And there's a PIN number you put in, so again, very Tesla-like. The rear wheel drive is lovely. And you can tell that Stellantis boffins have gotten in and are doing a bit, because sometimes some Chinese cars land in the European market and they're just a bit set up for China. It's probably the best way of putting it. And so they've done a good job with this. I've had it for the last hour up and down the mountain roads around Nice. The ADAS hasn't been too intrusive. Every now and again it'll just pull you into line if it thinks that you're wandering. Roads are a bit, you can turn it off, but no issue. But the speed sign recognition, speed change sign, speed signs, it's just nicely set up. And that rear-wheel drive just makes a difference with regards to power delivery. What I've found is they've done a really nice job of mapping the power. It doesn't feel, now it's 23 degrees here in the south of France, it doesn't feel like it's going to, it can get the power down nice and easily, especially with the rear wheel drive. So yeah, sometimes with front wheel drives, it squabbles, or brands find it difficult to get that power down with it. But no, overall it's a nice drive. So big door mirrors with blind spots. That pedestrian warning noise is unique. The ventilated seats. It's only 23 degrees, don't get me wrong, but again, I think it's like a heated steering wheel. Once you get used to it, it's probably something that you probably wouldn't live without. So it's smart that they're getting into it. And it's great to hear that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are coming. That was a big downfall for me on the T03 and the C10. Beautiful cars, phenomenal value, both sides, the small one and the big one, and this just sits right in. So with the European prices of, as I said, I saw an Italian video on after grants, it was around 28 grand for the smaller battery, and then on the European press release it was 29,990 is what they're looking for. See, Ireland's set up a bit different with VRTs, etc. But the MGS5 is starting off at sub 30,000. So if Leapmotor want to say we're here, we're as good as you, it needs to be a very low 3 or at least matching the MGS5, because the MGS5 top trim is at that sub 35,000 as well. And so I think this is what it's going to be going right up against. And that's before we get Geely straight into the country as well, if we ever do. So as I said at the start of the video, if you're looking for this size of SUV between the MG, the Toyota, yeah, there's so much choice out there at the moment, even before the newer stuff comes into the market. The JQ E5 and the Omoda E5 from Chery. There's a lot of good stuff out there to choose from anyway. At this price point, you're going to get compromises. And so like on this car, it's not perfect, unfortunately. That rear wiper, and so then in their next iteration, it'd be great to see them doing a rear wiper, because it's going to turn some people off. I'm not sure what the rationale behind it is, but efficiency I've been getting over the last 50 kilometers up and down hills around Nice, 13.3 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. Warm weather. Speaking of warm weather, all models, both models, get a heat pump. With the entry-level battery, that 56.6, you're going to be getting two trims. You're going to get the standard, the top trim, and then in the big battery, the 67.1, you're going to be getting just the top trim. So in certain markets, you'll get all three. Ireland, I'll say, we'll just do predominantly the bigger battery top trim, because that's what seems to be what people always go for. But let's have a look to see what the pricing is like. The walk isn't big, and it was the same in the C10. So great customization within the steering, the brakes, and one pedal driving. Some people, it might be a deal breaker for them as well. But the fact I've got it on strong regen, strong steering feel, and comfortable acceleration. Like, perfect. Very happy with it, and that efficiency as well. So seats, I'd always like a bit of lumbar support as well. They didn't have it in the C10, which is something that I would have said needs to happen. But otherwise, hopefully you've enjoyed that first look and first drive of the Leapmotor B10. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.